Maybe I'll listen to them again.
Oh, they're boys. I'm sure they be kicking it. They get paid off for all that.
You'll be
You
messing
know?
with Drake, bro. Don't mess with Drake.
Don't mess with Drake.
I'm part of the OVO clique, man.
Oh my gosh. It's showtime.
Showtime! Woo! 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 Silent and profiling.
What's up, everybody? It's IUWE BPE. I got another graphic for you. I ain't down with you. What's going on, everybody out there? It's the IUWE Talk crew coming at you live. We're going to go over some local flavor stuff. We're going to tell you about some local sports and everything like that. Changes in the MLB that you may not have been aware of that's happening this year. And what else we got? We're going to do some early predictions. And then, of course, quick takes. We're going to kick this thing off with Cleveland. This is for you. I feel like I should play the graphic like in the middle of the segment because I just hit him with so fast with the videos here. Joski Doski, what do you have for your local sports take this week?
So I was actually going to go one way and talk about the Guardians, but I completely made a 360 because I just got some a report about Deshaun Watson. I just think that that's kind of a big deal. But yeah, so I guess the lawyer for the 22 women who are obviously filing these charges against or attempting to file these charges against Deshaun Watson just filed a notice of intention that they want to have the deposition heard on 5 different days beginning in May. So obviously Rusty Harden is saying like, hey, well, Deshaun just started a new job, obviously being traded from Houston to Cleveland and needs to be with the team. It's unreasonable. It's not feasible at all to expect this guy to fly out to Houston 5 different times. Like, why is it that you can't have this thing set up on the same day or somewhere along the line? So it hasn't released a lot of news on it yet, but just kind of thought that was interesting. It seems like they're throwing all these random curveballs now. Obviously that was a personal attack, to try to go after Watson, because why is it even reasonable for their lawyer to go 5 different days? They know that he needs to be with Cleveland. They know that he's working out with the team. We've been seeing him all over Instagram. It's just kind of ridiculous that they're going to go ahead and just make this even harder than it has to be.
Oh yeah, that's going to happen. There's going to be more curveballs coming after that. Dealing with this court system and Deshaun Watson's position is not going to be the smoothest of rides. You know what I mean? Birdie, baby, what you got for your local flavor this week?
I got 2 quick little things I want to touch on here real quick. So my local flavor, will keep it super local, super Akron. And that's, I brought him up before, but I think it's due time to bring him up one more time. And that's my man, Chris Livingston. If anybody didn't get a chance to see him in the 2022 McDonald's All-American game, they're always replaying it on ESPN2, ESPN News. So I suggest you watch that because he balled out. He had 13 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and he was one bad night on the free throw line away from being the MVP of that game. And he stands out in this game. If you watch the highlights, it's unbelievable. The size the kid has now, unbelievable. He's 6'6", 200 pounds. He's going to show out at the next level. And so I want everybody to just remember that this kid is from Akron and to not jump on board when it's too late. He's starting for the Kentucky Wildcats next year. That's huge. I mean, since LeBron, there's never been another player to come out of Akron. I'm not calling this kid LeBron. I don't think he's going to be LeBron. But I do think he's going to play 1 year at Kentucky, get drafted, and play pretty well in the NBA. Like I said, just watch the highlights, watch the game if you can. and he jumps off the TV screen, the computer screen, whatever you're watching. He will jump off of it.
Dang.
Don't be too late, man. He's a fun guy to watch play the game.
Well, what's his jumper like? I assume he can get to the basket pretty effectively. What's his jumper like?
He was 2 for 2 from behind the arc, and they were shooting NBA. It's NBA 3-line in the McDonald's All-American game, man. So he's versatile. You know what I mean? He can do it all. He's well known for his defense. You do not play for John Calipari if you can't play defense. That's just what it is. You won't play for him if you can't lock up. So the fact that I think he'll start says everything about that he's got that on lock. I mean, think about this. Before he went to Oak Hill last year, he led Ohio, the state of Ohio, in points, rebounds, blocks, and assists. I mean,
wow.
It's unbelievable, really, and it's not talked about. I don't think anybody from around here talks about how good that kid is. So yeah, just jump on the Chris Livingston bandwagon. I'm not saying you got to be a Kentucky fan, but at least Kentucky's on TV a lot, so catch some of this kid's games.
All right, that's exciting. I can't wait to see. I can't wait to watch.
Hey, the other thing, real quick, I want to touch on is a story I saw today from Michael Bevan. I believe he used to write for the Beacon Journal. I'm not sure if he still does or not, but I saw on Twitter him telling that the Browns paid for a new turf field for Bookville High School. I think that is sweet. And wow. I'm going to steal this from Jay on Facebook, our boy Jay. He immediately said, all right, Guardians, your turn. Let's get a turf field for our boys over at Firestone now. Oh. Firestone baseball, that is. But yeah, I just think that's dope that the Browns are doing something local and it's affecting us right here in the 330 with giving the Bookville a turf field.
That's super cool, man. Wow. I did not know that. That's awesome. Hefe, what you got for your local flavor this week?
No, you know what? Just touch on a couple of what Joe and Andy have said so far. Yeah, it was nice, and actual Browns players were there to install that field.
Oh wow!
At Bookville. So that was really positive for Browns and local stuff that's going on. As far as Browns go, I don't know, and this goes to what you were talking about, Joe. I'm not so sure that it's up to the legal system to make it as easy or not easy on Deshaun Watson to go through the process. And if you have to go through these days and you have to travel here and there and go do that because you've been accused of some pretty heinous things, then I don't think it's up to the system to make it as easy on our athlete as it could be. And as far as that goes, that's a little bit of a side because I wasn't going there because my main local takes are real quick. Kirk Herbstreit will not be involved in the ESPN or ABC draft commentary shows this year because of a blood clot. He's out. And you know what? This guy has worked his way up through and he's been pretty good and dominant. And actually, when I worked at Tangier, he did a Buckeyes roundtable there, like way back in the beginning. We're talking 1993 when he first got his gig. And you know what? Kirk Herbstreit was a class guy. He was super nice all the way around the table. And he's earned everything that he has. But he will not be here this year because of a blood clot. So hopefully he gets that taken care of and all that. But my main local take is, man, I didn't even know this until today. I was looking through some of the local stuff and what we were going to talk about on this show. But Kent State women's golf, led by Chloe Salort and Emily Price, just locked up their 23rd consecutive MAC title. Holy shit. Are you serious? 23 straight titles. Match me anything in any other sport, in any other division that someone's won 23 in a row. That's my vote.
23 titles. That's immaculate. That is unheard of. That's what I mean. Maybe UConn women's basketball is touching as far as consecutive wins.
No, Third titles.
Right. Titles, though. That
Titles.
totally changes the game. That's nuts. That is amazing. What's the names again? That's crazy.
Chloe Salort and Emily Price. They're like the two leaders on the team this year, but shit, they're like I said, they're on the Kent State 23 titles in a row. Holy moly.
Shout out to them too. They're doing their thing. Local dominance. You gotta love it. Speaking of local dominance, I'm going to talk about a kid named David Jimenez from Defiance High School. I picked out a team. I went through the local baseball teams somewhat in the area, you know what I mean? And I picked one, and I'm going to focus on them. I'm picking them to win states this year in D2. But this guy is a monster, David Jimenez. I'm not even going to tell you about him. I'll let the reporter do it.
The numbers that Jimenez has put up in his first 4 starts this year will rival anything that Chad Billingsley or John Neese did at Defiance. So far this year, Jimenez has thrown 21 innings and hasn't allowed an earned run. He actually threw back-to-back no-hitters as well. Opponents are hitting .043 against him. The numbers are absolutely silly.
It's so fun. I mean, to dominate out there, to have the energy behind me and have the guys with me on my side, it's feeling like no other. It's insane to have a coaching staff and a group of players with me like this.
Bottom line is, in high school, just to be a strike thrower, and that's what he is. And it's, gets all 3 pitches across for a strike. He can start a guy off with a breaking ball. He can start him off with a changeup. He gets ahead of hitters and really just lets his defense feed.
Yeah, the dude's dominating. He is looking untouchable. And that team, Defiance, has 4 guys who are just as good as he is. So on the mound, especially. The question is, will they hit? I don't know. We'll see. But guess what? We're transitioning. Transition. I'm going to hit it again. Oh, yeah. Okay, we're going to MLB changes. They made a lot of changes during the winter meetings this past offseason. So we're going to help catch everybody up, or at least talk about interesting changes that we have seen and that we've noticed, and maybe get a take on something that we would have liked to see changed. I'm going to start it off with you, Hefe. What you got?
Look, I was pretty much opposed to the universal DH all the way up until this year, and they put it in. And you know what? It doesn't take that much away from the original feel of the game. So I do kind of like the universal DH switch, which I wasn't into, but I think it's cool. I think it's cool. It adds a lot to fantasy. It adds a lot to real baseball. It does all that. I think that they need to figure out what they're doing with this guy on second base and traditional doubleheaders and fake doubleheaders. I mean, some doubleheaders are 7 innings, some doubleheaders are 9 innings, and I'm not exactly sure what the rule or where the separation is between those. But I would like a little more clarity there. But as far as the rule changes, the guy on second base, I don't like. That goes against old school baseball, just like the universal DH goes against baseball. I like the DH though. The second base guy, I don't even know. I haven't even seen a game, and I think that I've heard conflicting things about whether there's a guy on second or whether there's not a guy, a ghost runner, blah blah blah. And
so what I've seen,
I'm not sure on some stuff.
What I saw is that they got rid of the COVID enforced rules. So the 7-inning doubleheaders and the guy going out on second, those are rules put in place because of COVID and wanting to speed games up. And they've supposedly gotten rid of those. Now, I know the Indians did play a doubleheader, 9-inning doubleheader the other day, but I did hear recently that there was a guy out on second in extras at some point, but that rule should be done. So, but that's what I read.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
A little bit weird right now, that's all.
Yeah.
They're working it out.
Yeah, there's no question. Yeah, they're working it out. Birdie, baby, what you got for MLB changes?
I got a few things I'll rattle off real quick. So about the DH, has anybody noticed that they use a DH in every league? Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's just part of the game. I mean, I think it should have always been this way. I wouldn't pay my hard-earned money to watch a guy that can't hit and swing a bat.
They like the strategy, Andy. The strategy.
Yeah. All right, so that's just one thing really this year. I think the biggest ones are coming next year, right? So we have the biggest one that we didn't talk about is the ban and the shift. My question is, how is this going to be regulated? So Rob Manfred is quoted as saying that there's like 2 rules right now, and he's not married to either one. One of the rules is that one of your infielders have to have one of their feet on the dirt. The other rule is that they're going to regulate how close these players are to second base. I still don't see how that bans the shift. So I think there's still some ironing out behind the scenes that we're not sure of. Other thing is, how are they gonna penalize the teams that do something, erroneous, right? Let's say if they do put a shift on, is there a free base involved? Is there a strike going to be called, a ball? Like how are they gonna penalize these teams for doing it? Because if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So I mean, these teams are gonna try to bend the rules, right? I'm interested to see what they're gonna do to enforce them. Another one is they're putting larger bases in next year. Why? Why are they?
It's safer.
So they're doing that. Are they doing that thing where in softball how they do the double first base? Are they doing that?
They're not doing that.
Oh. All right.
That would be nuts.
Let's eliminate the bases.
No bases. And then last thing that really I'm interested in seeing and how they go about penalizing pitchers is the pitch clock. I'm interested. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think that they should just have batters get in the box, stay in the box, and just be ready to hit. I think pitchers are always ready to go. At least I know me. I like to work fast when I was on the mound. Like I couldn't wait to get the next pitch in. So I know every pitcher is a little different, but I don't think that we're going to notice a huge difference with the pitch clock, but I'm interested to see it.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Right with you on that one. Very interested in speeding up the game in any creative way that they can come up with. Joski Doski, that big ass chick. What you got on MLB changes this season?
Yeah, I to tell you the truth, I don't really know too much about what's going on next season. I've been saying this, and this is the 3rd week in a row. The season's too long anyway, so it's way too long for me to start thinking about what's going on next year. So really with this year, I think the only thing that I've really paid attention to, and this is more red because honestly, I don't think I noticed when they're playing, is the pitch comm. So for anyone who doesn't know what the pitch comm is, there's a device on, I guess, the pitcher's or the catcher's wrist. And I don't know where it gets transmitted to. Actually, I did not find that, but it gets transmitted between the pitcher and the catcher, and they decide what they're throwing. Not everyone's using it. Some people like it, some don't. Notable players who I've heard are using it are like JT Real Muto. He stated that he likes using it a lot because sometimes the position of where he wants a ball thrown or where the pitcher wants to throw the ball or wherever it is hard to communicate. He said, now I can just go and I can click the button twice and they know what that sign means, or, click it once and they know there's something else. But then Yadier Molina refuses to use it, but that's also because he already, I guess, wears a transmitter of some sort that somehow communicates to the pitcher and then 3 different defensive players. So he's been doing something kind of crazy for a long time, I guess.
Gross.
Yeah, but to me, it's a little bit interesting. Truthfully, I think the one thing that I read about it was actually from the Red Sox. Obviously, I follow them a lot more closely. Alex Cora said he's undecided, but he doesn't really think that he's going to want the team to use it just because, he thinks that it takes away from, I forget exactly how he stated it, but just like the decision on pitches.
The real feel of baseball. The real feel.
Like does it take away from like sign stealing? Is that what you're saying?
No, like the real feel.
That's part of the game. It really is.
So yeah, it is meant to essentially take away sign stealing and also to improve the pace of the game. That's what they're hoping to do with it. So But he said that he believes that it would make his pitchers a little less convicted on what they were throwing, which I don't know if that's true or not because our pitching's never honestly all that good. So I don't know if it would help them or not. But yeah, I mean, I'm still up in the air about it. I think it's going to be one of those things where we have to just see how it goes throughout the entire season. We're still only a couple weeks in, so.
Right.
What I'd be interested to see is when a pitcher is shaking off a catcher just over and over again. We've all seen it happen. So you've seen a catcher, no, this. So what's he just going to be?
Yeah.
There's not going to be any signs anymore. No sign. It's all on a. I press my wrist and the catcher gets the notification and the coach gets.
I just find it funny that there was this huge thing made about the Apple iWatches now, and now it's like they're encouraged to wear them all.
Well, they probably found out that more people were doing it than what really came out, and they were like, "Oh well, let's just go ahead and add it to the game." Yeah,
I like it. I think it's a really cool thing, and I think the umpires should be able to know what's coming as well. That can only make his job, which is one of the hardest jobs in the world, that would
obsolete. There will be no more umpires after this.
Hold on. Did you see that game last night where Angel Hernandez was?
He's horrible, though.
He's horrible. Yes, he is horrible, but he's part of the reason when you watch him umpire a game, I'm like, bring on the robots. We need robots. Because
so we can get rid of the umps.
That dude called a first strike on Gene Segura, a breaking ball, 6.5 inches in off the plate, a strike. I'm telling you, I fell over. I just fell right over. I couldn't believe what I just saw. This guy is awful. Umpires miss about, what is it, maybe like 32, 34% of calls. Like, dude, that's a lot, man.
That's a lot.
I just want to get it right.
Jeff, you're a little too young to be a baseball purist, man.
Yeah. No, for real though. I mean, that's part of the game is the ump behind the plate, and this guy calls a high strike, this guy calls a low strike, this guy calls the inside strike. You know what? And you have to adjust as a pitcher and as a coaching staff and as a team, and that's part of baseball, and that's why I like the 162 games. It's a grind, and I know that I hear you, Joe, talking about 2 games per week. Then we should never have MLB. Nope. Then MLB should just go away because 2 games a week. Are you serious?
Yeah.
No.
I'm telling you.
You know what makes baseball so good?
Viewership will go through the roof.
162 games.
You're in the
We're
minority
talking about guys
sir.
that play 28 games in a month and then take 1 day off and then play 29 more games. You know what? That's why baseball was, and I think it will be again. It is America's game, and it's not.
Sport. Jeff, it's not.
It's a different sport than it was.
It's watched as much as NASCAR.
That's not true.
That's not true. No, it's not true.
No.
Look at total numbers and all that shit. No way. No.
I mean, just look, and I just wrote about it in the article, the arcane blackout policy. That's the reason that the viewership just isn't there. That's the reason. If you're streaming everything, you have a really hard time watching your local team. Like if you're just streaming, you don't have cable, it's hard to turn on the Indians.
That's
well,
not.
They don't play anymore, so it is hard. I get it.
That's not something that happens everywhere. That's actually not something that happens everywhere.
Totally
no, but
I'm saying that's more of a Cleveland thing. It's because they swapped that network, whatever it is that we're using Bally's now or whatever. That's more of a recent thing that happened. It's really not that hard to stream and watch the game. Your local team.
Network. That's a network thing. Because seriously, I could catch every single Cubs game there was ever on WGN and FS1, all that stuff. I used to be able to do that, and now I cannot. And so it's not just a local thing. This is like a real thing. It's a regional thing. It's a baseball thing, and they're taking away the rights or availability of seeing these games unless you pay your Roku.
So are you guys saying that the viewership in baseball wasn't going down before these recent changes?
Every year it has been.
They're not that recent. Baseball's been holding on to this blackout policy for a while now.
Yeah.
But it's been declining every year for a long time. Last year, there was a 37-year low for attendance. 37, and lowest it's been in 37 years. That's ridiculous. And then
it does suck. Look, we just secured our tickets to Cubs Braves June 19th at Wrigley Field. This will be my daughter's 4th Cubs game, and everyone has been with her grandfather, me, my dad, you know what I mean? And we got 6 tickets. My dad, his wife, me, Shonda, Felix, and my sister Sarah. And it was $500 just for the tickets. And it's like, holy moly. You know what I mean? Because seriously, if all 6 of us were going to like kick it, we would easily spend $200 a piece on drinks and dogs and stuff like that. And I guess that's wherein lies the thing about baseball, because it used to be, when I lived in Chicago in '93, I could drop $25 and go get a bleacher seat and go catch the Cubs on Saturday and Sunday and just like kick it, and it would be awesome. But nowadays, if I want to go to the game, I have to spend $1,000, and therein lies the whole issue, I guess, with like baseball.
I mean, that's everything. I used to be able to drive down the street for less than $10, but gas prices went up, Jeff. I mean, look, I mean, everything's gone up in cost. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I just want you guys to think of it like this, man. It's cause and effect. Like, why do you guys think that they're trying to speed the game up? People aren't watching it because the younger age group, regardless of whether or not we like it or not, they are ruining all of sports. And that's what we call is ruining it. They like it. They think that it's getting better. You know, they want football games to be safer. So, you know what? We see more pass interference and everything like that to protect the passers. They want the MLB to be faster, so now they're trying to put devices on their wrist so it can speed the game up. They're trying to get pitch clocks. They're trying to do everything else. They're trying to make it faster. So
it's all changing.
Look, viewership is going down. It's all changing. It was happening before these blackout rules, man. Like, I'm sorry, but it's too many games. If you shorten those games, Andy's right. If you get rid of some of those games, I think people will watch them more. Hell, I will watch them more. It's just too many.
I think the biggest part of shortening the season would be to get to the playoffs earlier. The playoffs start too late. They start way too late.
They start too late. There's too many teams involved. But Drew,
like 3 weeks earlier.
If you had 81 games in the season, think of it like an NBA season.
81.
That's half.
So when do you start it? When do you start the season then?
Right?
No.
When do you start the season?
Whenever
later
the hell they
later
want to.
than April, because it's
May.
They got guys
No,
paid to make those decisions, Jeff. Not me.
So I know, but that's what I'm saying. So say we start May 1, 81 games were done on August 3rd.
No, you do 2 games a week. You're not playing every day like you say.
You can't play baseball. Andy, you played baseball, right?
You're right.
You cannot get in a rhythm and swing the bat and get in a playing twice
We did it in high
a
school.
week.
We did it in high school.
You have to play every day.
We did it in high school, man. That's all I'm saying. So, I mean, we did it in college. You don't play every day in college. The only time you play every day is the MLB. That's it. Every other time you play baseball in your life, you played every few days.
There's multiple times in college that you play 4 or 5 games a week.
Yeah, double headers.
Them little kids, little boys and girls, they'd shred their elbows if they played that much. They gotta spread them out.
I'm just saying, man. And here's another thing. Like
between spreading them out,
some pitching records will come back into play because pitchers will be able to pitch more often. It's just, there's just many.
Well, they wouldn't be able to pitch more often. They would just be able to. There would just be more days in between when they pitch.
Jeff,
a starter. If we did 2 times a week, that means that if Shane Bieber could start,
he could get 40 starts
every game. He could start every game that the Indians played.
No,
if you play 2 times a week. Seriously, if you play 2 times a week, you don't think that there's a starter, depending on how that goes, that every other? So then Shane Bieber gets to pitch 1 time a week? Because if you pitch twice a week, That's horrible.
All right, so maybe more than 2 games a week, but regardless, I think that there's something to be said about there being a middle point somewhere in there. They just don't need to be playing as much as they're playing now. It's that simple.
Yeah.
That's what makes baseball baseball.
I agree,
the
but I
grind.
agree for different reasons. I think
It's what's killing baseball.
It is.
It's the grind, man. You got to be in it. You got to be in it.
Jeff,
it's
you're in
only the greatest game ever.
To you guys, and you're in the vast minority.
That's not true. That's
yes,
not
you
true.
are.
Baseball
Jeff,
is not true.
Jeff.
Go to IUWE Talk Sports and read that damn article. It's signature segment time. Whoa. Yeah, buddy. We're doing quick takes. Quick take. Hold on, I'm trying to find my list of quick takes here. What was it about again? Anybody remember? NFL draft, NBA playoffs, and Deebo Samuel trade market. Oh, wait a minute. I'm impatient, so I'm going to go with that one real quick. Deebo Samuel trade market. Okay, so picture this. Dallas Cowboys pick up Deebo Samuel. Could you imagine CeeDee Lamb, Deebo, and Michael Gallup like spread out three wide? Oh my gosh, they would be ridiculous. But anywhere he goes, any team he adds on to is going to be off the charts. He's going to be a huge impact offensively for any team he goes to. But who's the most interesting, and what do you think can happen? Birdie Baby, what you think about this Deebo Samuel thing?
The most interesting, and also the one I least likely want to see, are the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh,
I think he would fit on the Baltimore Ravens extremely well. Extremely well.
I hate that.
Running back, wide receiver.
Running back, wide receiver, catching little balls over the middle. Him and Lamar having a two I mean, it would be terrifying. And I think there's a chance it happens. I don't know how willing San Francisco is going to be to coalesce to acquiesce, to Deebo's demands. I hope he doesn't go to the Ravens. I do think that's the scariest of the options. Let's put it that way. Everybody's like, oh, let's trade Kareem Hunt for Deebo Samuel. It's not happening. Deebo Samuel is not going to be a Brown. Okay. He's not.
Why not?
What are they going to trade for him, Drew?
I don't know. You gonna figure it out. They gotta figure it out.
No, he's not coming here. I just hope he doesn't go to the Ravens.
Got people in the office to make them decisions. They just gotta make it happen. That would just be the greatest thing of all time. Instant title. That's instant. Instant title. Just add water. Just add Deebo. We got one. Joski Doski. What do you think about Deebo Samuel trade market?
So honestly, that would be great, but Andy's right, not happening. Especially not with Kareem Hunt involved. Like literally, I pointed out to I think Brooks might have been the one that posted it. I'm like, well, for one, Kareem Hunt's already through his 5 years of what a lifespan is for a running back. But you also look at the 49ers, and they don't really need a running back, man. They have Elijah Mitchell. They have Trey Sermon. I mean, if they really want to go get a third guy, they could probably just get him in this year's draft. If anything, if they were for whatever reason looking to actually move, like get a running back, it would probably be Dearness just because he's a little bit younger, which was the whole idea behind saying, oh, well, you know, Kareem Hunt can go. No, we're not playing Madden here. We're talking about real NFL. So it just doesn't make sense for that to work. But unfortunately, I think that this could be one of those plays for – and first, I want to say that the three teams I've heard are the Jets, the Chiefs, and Packers. And I don't even know how the other two would make it work, but I think the unfortunate one here would be probably the Jets. They were obviously already involved in the whole Tyreek Hill thing, which means that they're willing to pay the type of money that Deebo Samuel is clearly requesting for a trade for. I think that's going to be a big deal in moving him in general. The other portion of it is what exactly is San Fran going to want out of it, and the Jets have the number 10 overall pick. So, you know, if you're the 49ers, you were just in the NFC title game last year. That may have been a huge part because of Deebo Samuel, truthfully, which is funny because he had I don't know if you guys saw the Instagram post between him and Jamal. What's that safety's name? that was in Seattle. Jamal something. Can't remember his name.
Agnew right now.
Jamal Adams.
Jamal Adams. Yep. Yeah. So they had like a little conversation, a text conversation that Deebo Samuel put up and then took off of his Instagram, where Jamal Adams was pretty much telling him how to handle the situation, and he kind of clowned Jamal Adams because he's like, this is nowhere the same situation. I actually got my team to the playoffs last year. I just think that they would want something, knowing that they were that close to making it to the Super Bowl. They're not going to get rid of their best player, not try to do something to make them better, to fill that spot. So I think the number 10 overall pick would clearly give them options there. They're going to want more than that. And then they also have the money to sign him long-term to the type of deal that he wants. So I don't expect anything to happen until probably draft day, but I think that could be where we're looking here, I guess.
Fair enough. Hefe, Deebo Samuel trade market.
It's like, it's weird because what I heard today was Deebo is waiting to find out where Baker Mayfield is gonna go. And the main reason that, like, what I've just heard as far as like if Deebo would go to Green Bay, apparently from Deebo's words, he wants to be used less than he was last year. And it's so crazy that I didn't even – he said he was overused. And I think that might be an injury concern because of the second year when he was hurt and all that. But I don't think that he wants to go somewhere where he would be the featured guy. So Green Bay's out. Actually, the Browns might be somewhere in the mix right now because Amari Cooper's the guy. But Deebo apparently does not want to be the guy. And I don't know if he knows that he's like not super sturdy or if he's not – he just wants to enhance his longevity in the NFL. But like I said, he wants to go somewhere where he will be used more efficiently but less busily. And that changes up everything as far as like where Deebo would go. And I think the dude's a game changer, but if this is real and if these things that I hear, he's already talking about I need to be used a little bit less, I don't know if he's the guy that you want on your team. So I think he stays in San Fran.
Oh boy.
I do want to throw this out here. I'm sorry, but that was actually a joke that has been surfacing around social media. That's not a real report. There was some underlines to that
About Baker Mayfield.
Worried about being overused and being hurt.
No, that I agree with, but the Baker Mayfield thing is what he's talking about, I think.
Yeah. The Baker Mayfield thing was definitely a joke that surfaced.
No, I'm talking about
NBA playoffs, quick take. Birdie baby, what you got?
You didn't even tell us where you wanted Deebo to go.
The thing that I'm taking away from this, the thing that I'm taking away from this postseason is I have realized how much I sports hate Kyrie Irving, because I've never gotten so much joy out of seeing a team lose, and I didn't think that. Watching the Celtics and the Nets, I was like, I don't care who wins, I can't stand either team, but I have really enjoyed watching him lose. Let's see. In other news, I'm tickled pink that the Warriors didn't get the sweep. I think the Pelicans have a real chance at winning their series. I do. I think that without Devin Booker, I think the Suns are in trouble. And I think that if Jackson Hayes had not got ejected in the first quarter of Game 3, the Pelicans might be at 3-1 right now.
Oh,
So wow. I like that. My pick for the Timberwolves, I'm still riding with my Timberwolves in 6. They got to win 2 straight to do that. Look out for the Timberwolves. Like I said, if they got a bona fide big 3 that's not talked about. So I like the Timberwolves. I like the Pelicans. And Jason Tatum is maybe surpassing Kevin Durant right in front of our eyes.
That's amazing. I love everything that you talked about right there. And what's really crazy to me is Brandon Ingram. I didn't see him becoming this player when he was at Duke. I didn't see him becoming this. I thought he would be solid. I thought he'd be good, but he's legit. He's super legit. Joski Doski, what you got? Quick take on the NBA.
Well, hey, you guys know where I'm standing. You wouldn't think I could say much more than what I said last week about these guys, but honestly, they are just playing phenomenal, man. Defensively, the Celtics are just lights out. Saturday, I believe they held both Kyrie and KD to 16 points apiece. I mean, both of these guys got extremely frustrated. I think at one point in time, and Drew, you were over watching the game, Kevin Durant just threw the ball at the basketball hoop. Like they are shocked and confused that all this is happening. And the even better part is that Robert Williams came back, played 16 solid minutes, and we're just going to keep working him back in the mix. And it's not like they're only doing it defensively, because on the offense, they're doing what they need to as well. Jason Tatum put up 39. You pull Pritchard off the bench, he put up 10 points real quick. You don't even expect him to be out there scoring. Marcus Smart, 14 points. He hit that shot late where he left him looking like Booker T, staring at his hand 5 times. And Jaylen Brown, man, even with those 9 points that he hit like late in the game to really seal it out, he finished with 23. So everyone around is really just doing their job, man. And as long as they can keep playing like this, the one thing we know about all sports is it's about who's hot when. The only thing I fear about them right now is that they could be hot a little bit too early. But if they play basketball like this, it's hard for me to even really imagine another team in the league that's actually going to be able to beat them.
We shall see. I think they're going to be tough. Celtics are going to be tough.
They're fine.
FA, what do you got? A quick take on the NBA.
Hey, quick take. I think Boston's going to be fine. And honestly, I kind of feel like they're going to be in the finals. And my quick take on the NBA playoffs right now is Milwaukee. Playing who? The Bulls. King has 6 rings. We know all that stuff, and you guys know my Bulls stuff. But Chris Middleton sprained MCL. He's out. He's out of this series. And I know that Milwaukee's up 3-1, but the numbers that I saw today were when Milwaukee's big 3 are in, they're 37-10. And when one of those guys, who includes Chris Middleton, is out, they're 14-22.
Wow.
And
wow,
Middleton's out. So I think that the Bulls might have a chance to sneak this out. I'm not calling it. I'm saying they might have a chance to sneak
the only
out.
thing, Jeff, like your argument holds water. However, Chris Middleton got hurt in game 1, and they're up 3-1 now. So
we're just talking about the numbers. That doesn't matter. 14-21. Okay, so they already got one out of it.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
All right. Can I get 2? Let's get a bet.
Right.
I'll get the Bulls 2 more games in this series.
Oh, you just wanted to get to 7?
I think Milwaukee will not win the series or the championship this year.
I'm not betting on that.
I like Miami.
They're good.
Transition.
Hey, real quick, Drew. I'm so sorry. I would be remiss if I didn't say what I heard on Get Up this morning from my boy Mike Greenberg, and that's if LeBron James ever had a series like Kevin Durant is having right now, we'd never hear the end of it.
Oh, wow!
It's true. You know what? I agree with that. I read that earlier this morning too. But LeBron James hasn't played a Celtics team like this either.
Hey, Joe, go ahead and give your final thoughts. Leave something for the people.
I think we're NFL draft, but I will go ahead.
We hate the draft. Remember? I thought we hated NFL drafts.
All right, we just all right. We're.
I thought it was 40, we're at 40 minutes. We're good. We're okay.
We're freestyling here. Yeah, final thoughts, man. I don't know. I wasn't prepared to do this. So go Celtics, man. Great series. Yeah. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens for the draft, man. Debo gets moved. Baker gets moved.
Hefe, final thoughts.
Ted Ginn, Troy Smith, autographed football, senior year, Ohio State. Peace out.
Fire. I love it. Hey, I just want my final thought is everybody cool out to this music. Get your drinks ready. Call you up something nice, and Andy Birdie Babe is gonna give you his final thoughts before we get out of here.
I got a couple of little quick final thoughts. Jeff, that was random as hell, but we love you, man.
It was.
Second one is, hey, man, we could have some fun things to talk about next week on the podcast with hopefully some big trades that go down on draft day. I anticipate if Baker Mayfield does get moved, it will be in the second or third round. So look for a Friday, Saturday move for Baker Mayfield. Other than that, we got the Celtics and Nets on TV right now. Go tune into that. I'd like to see some pride show up for the Kyrie and Kevin Durant, but I don't know if it's going to happen, and I think they might get the brooms out. They might get the brooms out. Other than that, we'll see you next week, boys. It's IUWE BGE.
IUWE BGE. Deuce.